is asking, what's the point of having so many casters on IEM today? And the idea is that there's a lot of matches going on simultaneously. They're not casting one best of three after one best of three. You know, all the round of 8 is playing out and so forth. We're going to be casting the winners bracket up to the semifinals. That's when the mainstream will take over all the semifinals matches. That's Killaris and Rotterdam today on the ESL stream. And then we'll be jumping to the losers bracket shortly after. Gives us a little bit more malleability with who we want to cast and what we want to see, and hopefully can bring you guys the matches that you want to watch today. It's just a quick shout out that if you are not perhaps a Zerg or a Terran fan, Rotterdam and Killaris are casting you Thermal versus Little Bow on the mainstream as we speak. So there's your chance to swap over. But I think this should be a good one. We got two pretty fun players. Two perhaps of almost the best of their race, I would say. In the top left, we've got Team Liquid's Blue Zerg, Snoot.
In the bottom left, as the purple Terran, it is Goody.
Now, for Goody's sake, it might actually be a good thing to get these spawn locations, depending on how greedy Snoot wants to be. Cross spawn for Snoot is obviously the ideal situation, because then you don't have that same level of pressure potentially limiting one of your thirds. But as he scouts Goody to the south, the first thing that should go off in his mind is, do not take this base! This base will be troubles and bad times.
Probably a good move not to take that base against, well, anything, actually. Like, you just don't want to expand towards your opponent as a Zerg player. Usually, some notable, you know, I guess, what's the word? Exceptions to that rule, there we go, is on Merry-Go-Round, if you want Roach Hydra versus Terran, you might be able to get away with going towards them, but even then, it was a little risky to do.
Yeah.
You just take the top bases, take the top rights, too, if the game goes on for that long, and it's going to be a lot better, especially against something as slow-moving as Mech. Iron Fortress, it's a smallish map, but even without that, it's hard to get that third, so I'd say deny the third, then worry about taking the map, but definitely deny that third first. But it actually looks like a denial on the natural might have been what Snoot was hoping for. He went for an awfully quick ghoul. Damn, man.
What is this, Warcraft? What are you doing?
Pool and gas. You know, the cool build, whatever.
It's okay. You know what?
First.
I've said more ridiculous things over the last week of StarCraft, so I'll forgive you for this one.
Totally works. And it doesn't make any lings. You know, it's the first 2 lings coming out now. And, well, even if you had made more lings, it wouldn't have worked, so I guess it all ends up working out. But Goody went kind of paranoid and went CC on the high ground just automatically. Works out.
So, Naruto tweets out, by the way, if you would like a German coverage with no bias whatsoever, Take TV is also casting the same match. Yeah, they're also in here with us, and Goody is a German player, so yeah, definitely not going to be any bias there for the Terran caster from Germany covering Goody.
Yeah.
It was actually Naruto's birthday over the weekend.
Oh, yeah?
Just yesterday, that's why he couldn't do, he wasn't actually casting the Lotus matches, it turns out. So I was like, you have a good time partying? He's like, no, dude, I hate parties. I was like, cool, we should hang out sometime.
Here are those lings that weren't initially made to cancel a command center. They would be able to at least get a lift off and maybe get on top of the Marines. You've seen that a couple of times in like Lakes of the Void and whatnot. You know, it's an attempt to maybe end the game if things really go south, but really just to get that command center lifted. But there wasn't a command center.
So
It's Reaper.
There's gonna be 2 big plus and minuses going into this. One, Snoot, he loves his Mutalisks. He loves playing with whatever unit, honestly. Like, flavor of the month, Snoot can take whatever. And unfortunately, Iron Fortress is a pretty bad map for Mutalisks. Just generally speaking. It's really good for harassing thirds and fourths, okay. But not the main, not the natural so much. And because of this, that could be a problem, because it's probably one of the best ways to hurt Goody, honestly. You're not going to be getting in there with lings against tanks and Hellions or anything anytime soon, but the other thing was Snoot did mention, I mentioned before, like he said he had some plans, and one of them was that he was really hoping for small maps today. And that's all he would tell me. Nothing further than that. So, Iron Fortress, not the biggest map, might fall into that category. I just kind of hope that he doesn't get screwed by the limited airspace here.
Okay.
It's also gonna be one where I think if he can get away with it, right? Get that creep spread going, get the expansions going. Goody's gonna have a hard time securing a third, and a really hard time securing a fourth, but he'll do it, and he'll do it incredibly slowly. I think if this paces out to be a regular Goody game, and I'm thinking back to like maps like Deadwing, by the time Goody's on his 4th, if Snoot's done it correctly, he should have at least half the map under his control.
Wow. Baneling busting a person who's known for going mech is always quite risky. I mean, chances are... Or maybe just actually really identify what this push was. That might just be, this might just be defensive, but a really good read on Goody. Because, yeah, Baneling busting being offensive towards a person who would probably have a tank doesn't sound good. But having Baneling ready to go to a person who does these weird attacks like this, then absolutely fantastic read. I'm hoping that was just the case of being the latter and Snoot's good. You know?
Right, but Goody's probably not going to be too directly attacking here. He's well, looks like, well, actually, he's the type of guy to siege up on the other side of that cliff, right? But picks that tank up. Unfortunately, everything else gets massacred, so no banelings required.
Yeah, you didn't even need the banelings. Now what do you do with the baneling nest?
Well, I was gonna say, like, ever since like maps like Polar Knight and maps like Iron Fortress here, there's a lot of ways to abuse the cliff ledges, and Snoot recognizes this right away, immediately puts Lings on the other side. Unfortunately, that means there's not enough on the front lines, but I mean, it's one tank shooting the hatchery. Hopefully he can clean this up in time.
Yeah. You know, it's a lot of Lings to deal with what is not a lot of units. So either this is a mistake and like Goody is getting something when it looked like he was really going to get nothing from this push, or Snoot is going to use these Lings to really heavily deny the 3rd, which I think is like the goal of this map. Already losing a lot, just a good positioning for Goody.
Yeah, I kind of feel like if you just focus on the tank instead of the Marines, you know, it's not getting healed. He would have perhaps cleaned this up already. The biggest thing about that tank was it was actually blocking out surface area on the Marines as well, weirdly enough. But back at home, Goody does have a tank up, and it actually covers the entire wall, which is quite nice. So if Snoot was doing a slow baneling push, it wouldn't really get much done. Or you need a lot to make it happen.
He'd probably check before morphing in too many banelings, but even doesn't actually check. He just goes into that lair and starts macroing up elsewhere. But this game has really kind of been, I don't know. Usually, if you know a person really well, and you defend the push, and that's fantastic, and you get really greedy, you get really like all-ins. But that would require like a Roach Warren to really do a lot with the tank protecting the bases like it is. But he never got a Roach Warren. So he's going out just now, really getting heavily into those drones. 13 coming out now. So he's starting to get up there in the drone counts. Obviously not a 4th, only just saturating that 3rd base. Just the case of Snoot not exactly being the macro monster he was showing versus Happy. Thanks, chat, for reminding us who it was. You know, where he went super passive, and you know that worked maybe once almost, but that was also a different game. But he's also not really applying any pressure points yet. Oh, infestation pit.
One of the strengths we've seen though is Snoot, because he gets the drone count up so high, because he gets those bases out early, he gets ahead in that bank really quick. And sometimes that's what you really need to have happen for you. But oh dear, oh bother, those are some blue flame hellions.
Well, it's just that, yeah, no, that's
oh god,
look at that bank. And that'd be fantastic. It seems like he's not. I don't know why the you know insistency on Lings and just Lings when it's almost guaranteed to be a mech player.
I think a lot of this has to do with just him trying to be cost effective, as weird as that sounds. I mean, the Baneling Nest was going to take care of most Hellbats if they were dropped, Marine pushes, of course, but I mean, this poke out of Goody, while certainly potentially abusive, didn't end up doing that much.
Oh. Wow.
15 workers killed in total, and that's a pretty nice number, really, but it's in comparison to the fact that Snoot still has 75 drones standing. So again, this kind of goes back to, for me, looking at this saying, well, Snoot, maybe all these Lings are cost effective, they're just not efficient versus Hellions.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like roaches you could make 7, and for the most part they won't die unless like banshees get out of control. But they don't got up with Hellions. Just a lot safer, but yeah, he is going into Storm Hosts. What?
Yeah, do you remember like those 8 Swarm Hosts doing miracles for him?
Yeah.
We'll see how he gets to use them here. With the ability to float them over through the mineral lines too, this could be quite abusive, but right now this might be getting them out a little too soon. Problem with Locust, guys, now if you haven't been keeping up with the meta of the game where the patch changes, there's about a 1-minute cooldown on actually spawning the Locusts. So while they're still pretty good and they deal a good chunk of damage, I don't know. This might be too expensive of an investment for Snoot right now.
Yeah, they're almost purely harassment units. Definitely not what they were.
Well, you can use them for defense. We saw them do that, but
yeah, but you know they're not really dependable. Like you said, they got one shot at doing damage. They do a lot of damage.
They help take out some of the tanks and the Thors. I mean, it's not a solid defense yet by any means, but Snoot did some pretty good damage there. A couple more banelings coming in. I mean, the light units are really, there's not that many of them. You know, the Hellbats aren't really that big of a problem, but right now the drones are running because, well, there's nowhere to go. You run into tank fire, you run into Hellbat fire. Either way, it's going to be bad news bears. Locust coming off a cooldown here in about 10 seconds. They'll absolutely be able to wipe what's left here. I mean, Thors will go down and any tanks remaining will die. The Locust will win out. But the problem comes back to the fact that it is still a really long cooldown. So he's going to get this right on top of the units. Spawns them on in. In fact, the Thor's probably better off just shooting the Locust while they're in the air. Oh, not realizing a tank was down here. So gotta give away a couple of the swarm hosts.
Yeah. I would call that push from Goody successful though.
Oh no!
Oh no! Okay, well now it's super successful.
Okay, well.
Oh god!
Oh no!
No!
Back the other way. Pathfinding. AI pathfinding just totally screws. I think he was expecting to go around the north, but instead goes through the south and loses. Goes from 15 to 34 drones killed. Still not quite managing the situation, but I don't know. For Snoot's sake, like he did kill a lot of very expensive units from Goody. The problem is, though, he's lost so much in the process.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think, like, how many Thors went down? Or tanks, or not?
3 Thors, 2 tanks, 2 Banshees. I mean, really, again, like, Snoot, it's this really not swarmy composition is the best way I can think to describe it.
Yeah, well, it's just that I don't know what Snoot was,
Oh, that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate.
This whole game was a little out of the ordinary. Just seeing as fast, you know, the Swarm House suit is already weird enough, but then the dependency on the Lings initially not really quite working out. It just was a very standard, clean game from Snoots. And Goody, I think, is he's actually probably going to win.
This Jones got a nope.
That push didn't only kill a third and a lot of drones. It also allowed Goody to get his own third and his own fourth up, as well as his production. So usually, like, if you lose a third base or a fourth base, but you take out the army, then you at least got like maybe a max out the counterattack, and the mech player has to sweat a little. Snoot has never been very scary to Goody's like base, you know? Like, he's barely been scary to his army.
Yeah. Still just trying to buy this time here with the Locust, hoping that these will save him. You know, tanks being unsieged are perhaps the single best part of this army for him. The fact that he's not had to really worry about friendly fire and the Locust landing directly on top of them. In fact, just running away from Locust. Kind of going back to like the 101 of Heart of the Swarm, like all the new units that were introduced in Heart of the Swarm still are countered by running away from them. Hellbats, Locusts, I mean, just walk the hell away. Oracles included. Less so because of that speed increase, but Snoot took another base. Kind of like watching True Play, you know, just like a Hydra. One head gets cut off, he builds 2 more. The problem is, there's a big air transition coming up behind this. And while Snoot's been doing okay at managing with the tanks, not great, but okay, I don't know he's going to deal with a lot of Banshees, much less potential battle cruisers.
Yeah, I think Snoot's just lost. I mean, this is when I think you know you've lost, unless it's like a base trade scenario. When you are below 100 supply in like a 20-minute game, I think you're pretty sure that you've lost. Now it's just
it's so crazy.
What can do.
I mean, these Locusts are so damn effective. It's just that the cooldown is so long. Yeah, so I mean, Stormhouse really, as you said, harass-based units. I would agree, but even here, you're trying to use them defensively. If you just had more or maybe better cooldowns, I don't know. But sadly, Snoot has neither, and this is the push in the natural. It's the last little bit of mining he's got left. He's pretty much trying to cash at this point.
He is. Yeah, this is going to be game, but it's a best of 3. Plus, there's a losers bracket. So like, it's not the worst thing in the world that Snoot did this like kind of wonky way of dealing with mech. I mean, he tried, it didn't work well.
Wasn't it Shenzhen last year where he actually climbed out of the losers bracket too for the qualifiers?
Wow, that's asking a lot. I have no idea.
I don't remember which one of the qualifiers though. Stu, like he lost right away and came back to win through the losers bracket. Either way, game 1 is gonna go to Goody. We also got a very nice donation during that game, $50.